Okay. Call the meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I have one item to add to the agenda. It would be item 5B, dealing with easements for the broadband authority to connect the county facilities. So, see an item 5B there. Any other changes or additions anyone have?
Motion to approve is modified.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, special presentations and appearances, service awards. Mr.
Yes,
David.
sir. Chairman, we have several employees to recognize.
Okay. See, this is part of the duties that we didn't tell you about. You're the gatekeeper.
Now I'm ready for them.
You ever take them in case somebody goes after
But Susan's not here, so Allison's going to
Okay.
take care of the pictures for us. All right. All right. There she is. Okay, great. The first employee we'd like to recognize is Lieutenant James Franklin with the Orange County Fire and EMS. He's here this evening to receive his 20-year service award.
My goodness, 20 years. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Next, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, would like to recognize Donna Harpold, who's our Director of Elections and Registrar, and she's receiving a 10-year service award.
Congratulations and thank you.
And we're also going to recognize this evening Sarah Altman, who's with Orange County Sheriff's Office as a crime analyst, and she's here tonight to receive her 5-year service award.
Thank you.
All right, had been expecting, but not here with us. Susan Crosby, who's a customer service coordinator in our Building and Development Services office, is receiving a 5-year service award. Make sure she gets that.
Okay. It takes a while to learn the receipt, but you get.
I gotta stay on my toes with this job.
This is an active.
Need to come here in the down hours and do some practice.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. Goodness, my chair feels like it. Did you guys, you did. Somebody gave me the short chair.
Yeah, I do feel tall. Thanks. I think that happened the last planning commission
Yeah,
meeting.
There's more going on in this than you think. All right, consent agenda.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, new business, engagement of the Orange County Broadband Authority to connect the county facilities. As we happened to discuss a little earlier in the meeting, you have in your packet, a proposal.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, as you know, the Broadband Authority is going to be connecting county facilities to the fiber network. It would be appropriate for the board to formally engage the Broadband Authority and Broadband Program Manager to do the project managing and assume other related tasks to complete these connections. What I suggest is that a document be drawn up by the county attorney between the board and the supervisors and the Broadband Authority to formalize that engagement. And so with the county attorney due to return here shortly, is to authorize the chairman to execute an appropriate agreement drafted by the county attorney to engage the broadband authority and broadband program manager to connect county facilities to the fiber work. This is a little prospective work to get this done.
What's the agreement supposed to look like?
It's just going to be a memorandum of understanding that the board engages the broadband authority. I mean, we were gonna have this drafted up. I can bring that back to you all. We felt, with talking to the county attorney, we traded some emails, that it's just better to have a formal agreement.
And one reason for doing it this way is the broadband authority actually has a contract in place with the company that could
So we
put
want
the fiber in place.
We want to start moving on it. There's a time issue?
Right, I mean, I think that the idea is that this starts right away, so. And if you're interested,
We
I
were
have
gonna
some
move
maps.
forward with the project, and we were gonna follow up.
So you're gonna do this?
Who's-
Sign it?
Yeah.
Whose attorney is gonna draw up the agreement?
The board of supervisors.
As you see, there's a lot of capability that gets put in place for, as the individual items, you're looking for relatively modest amounts of monies. And that's entirely because of the infrastructure that we put in place as part of other projects. And so this is capitalizing on that. In general, the fiber runs are fairly short and largely on either county or, in the case of the fire department and the rescue squad, on property that's owned by those organizations. And so it's not terribly disruptive and not terribly expensive.
Does the county reimburse the broadband authority for this?
That's right. This is essentially a purchase order to the broadband authority. Okay, any other questions? Or is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Third.
Any further discussion?
Why is it this building's always so more expensive than everything else in the county?
It's a special building. It has special requirements.
Okay.
Actually, it's the longest run because the handhold for this building is out on 15 at Church Street. So we've got to come up 15 and then cross over and go under the parking lot. So, just
Thank you.
the luck of the draw.
Yes.
I can show you the map if you'd like. Study it in great detail.
I'm good, thank you.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Okay, thank you. Okay, and the new item deals with the easements for the broadband authority to connect said county facilities to the fiber network.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I spoke with each one of you individually about this. We're just trying to keep ahead of the pace of these projects. It would be appropriate for the board to grant easements for these sites, and I'll list them: Barbersville Collection Site, the new public safety facility, Rurton Building properties out at 520 and 522, the water tank at Locust Grove Middle School, and the Lee Industrial Park. Having the board grant easement to the broadband authority to locate node cabinets, fiber, and other related equipment. The county attorney and I traded some emails. The law was a little fuzzy on this, of whether the board needed to have a public hearing before granting, authorizing the chairman to sign those easements. We came down on the full transparency and belt and suspenders approach to have the public hearing. So what I'd like the board to do is to authorize me to advertise that public hearing once the easement instruments have been completed and are ready for the public hearing. And then after that public hearing, you all will be in a position to authorize the chairman to be signed. One other note, we are able to have Mr. Whip and GIS do the exhibits, so we will not have to hire a surveyor to do that. That'll be, the easement document will be drafted by the county attorney, married with the exhibits that were coming off our GIS system, and then that's what would be recorded in the clerk's office.
Motion to authorize. Public hearing.
Second, okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Gentlemen, we may have this in time for the November meeting, which is your Lake of the Woods meeting, so. So that, if we can keep these things moving along.
All right, I see no old business. Department Director, Constitutional Officer Report, Emergency Operation Plan Revision. Chief Mort.
Before you is just a revision to our emergency operations plan. Every 4 years, we're required to come and have you readopt the plan. There were some minor changes to the plan, names, contact numbers. The plan predominantly remains the same as it always has been. I'm here to answer any questions you might have about the plan.
Do you do the contact names, address, and phone numbers more often than the 4 years?
Yes, sir. So every year, we actually go look through the plan.
Okay.
It's only at the 4-year mark that we're required by FEMA to have it readopted by the board.
I got you, okay.
Okay. Any other questions, Chief?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
County Attorney's Report. Here's where you get, floor is yours.
Sure. Your Honor, actually, I just said Your Honor as though I were in court. I'm sorry.
That's right, we
Prosecuting all those
accept that as a
zoning
group.
That's right.
Some of us are honorable.
I hope you appreciate your new title, Jim.
We won't say which ones.
The ones in public. Actually, moving up in the agenda, the authorization that you just took a moment ago is actually, I believe, going to need a roll call vote. The engagement of the Orange County Broadband Authority. So
Okay.
if you wouldn't mind moving up a little bit on that.
Go back and
We can do that.
We'll have a motion in a second.
We have a motion in a second, so
I have a motion by Mr. Crozier, seconded by Mr. Johnson. This is relative to item 5A, engagement of the Orange County Broadband Authority.
okay.
Ready for
Roll
roll
call.
call? Mr. Goodwin?
Aye.
Mr. Crozier?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
And Mr. White?
Aye. Okay, 5-0.
5-0.
Thank you. Same result.
Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
No other county report? You're gonna press your luck.
Do we need anything for the easements on that too?
How about the easements? Would you like first?
No, actually not for that.
All right, thank you. That's why we had you up here.
That's
See,
just a public hearing.
Right. Okay, County Administrator's Report, appointment for the VACO business meeting. In your package, you have an appointment.
Yes, sir. Mr.
Materials.
Chairman, this is the annual appointment for the official business meeting. There are 3 blanks in there with supervisors' names.
That's the usual case at that meeting.
And so I'll leave it to you all, who you want to fill in those 3 blanks in the recommendation.
I don't believe we have anybody this year.
We still have a junior,
Should I say who did this last year?
And the year before?
In the year before?
And
We all know.
We want somebody experienced, so
That's
if
right.
they've done it before.
Absolutely. I think experience is very important.
I would move that we make Mr. Crozier the representative.
Is there a second to that? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going, so I wasn't gonna go there for you.
I know.
I would
I
offer
know
up a
you are.
discussion period, but I don't think it's a good idea.
It's called a defensive maneuver on my part. I'm gonna be down there.
We could do a roll call even. Do a roll call, please.
So in case we have any challenges to
In case it,
Mr. Crozier?
No?
Really?
Well, you got 4 going the other way, so I,
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
Aye.
Mr. White?
aye.
And Mr. Goodwin?
We haven't done this in a long time. Nay.
I like it. We needed a 3-2 vote.
Somebody's gonna, in 40 years, somebody's gonna look at the minutes going, I wonder what on earth happened here.
well, it will be well documented by local newspaper.
Not in 40 years it won't be.
Wait till we report this to the vacant board of directors.
Yeah, that's right. All right, since
It was a
we're,
closed vote.
Yes, it was.
we're doing so well, let's go to board comment. Anybody have any board comment for tonight? I actually have one, and I mentioned this largely just to do a public announcement of it. I think we all received a package recently from the SEC about the possible addition of a new area code for our region beyond the current one. That appears to be in the preliminary stages, but I just make note of having received that package, and I assume it will make its way through all the various proceedings. If you're asked, we are aware of that.
I didn't read it very carefully, but is that superimpose it over the existing one, or they split us out? I'd hate to see that, my phone number have to change.
It appears they haven't decided. If that package, which I almost brought it, it's probably about 3/8 thick stack of papers. There are 2 pages in there that actually transmit the issue. The rest of it are all mailing list. And it goes to all, state and local officials.
Would you get that in an email?
No?
No, it came in a
By-
paper package.
Takes longer to get to Barbara's.
Yeah,
I think
I haven't seen it, but.
Mine is labeled vice chairman, of which I'm not, so.
Oh, okay, that's probably what it is then.
But it's, anyway,
It got ripped out of the package.
I don't know what the ramifications are. It's being discussed.
I have one. I went to the Chamber's first coffee this morning at the high school, and they did a tour of the newly renovated areas for their technology classes, and where they move people around and everything. Above and beyond the spaces, the instructors that they now have doing these courses are superb. One comes to us from a little bit of a shady past. He was on a submarine for 20 years. So, but
So what you're saying, he's sunk pretty low this time.
yes, he did. But no, he's dealing with both Dahlgren and up in Maryland, the Naval Lab up there, dealing with underwater robotics. And the robotics club has a really nice area now. The school has come a long, long way in that entire area, so and they've done a fabulous job.
Great.
I went to the Area on Aging Expo this morning. A number of local businesses were there, including one that isn't even in operation yet. But it was pretty crowded, a lot of people there. Also, last week, I've been trying to get to that for a long time, but I don't know if any of you have been to the bluegrass jamming they have up there at Wendell's Laundromat, but it is really a lot of fun.
Interesting.
Every Thursday morning about 9 o'clock.
Yep.
All right, any other board comment? Any question on the information items? All right, any appointments? All right, and we have an item on the calendar, which is to schedule a rezoning public hearing for the 22nd meeting. Any questions on that or any motion on that? Neither, huh?
I would make the motion to schedule that.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Schedule accordingly. And in 11 minutes, we will open for public comment. In the meantime, let's move our phones. Public comment? Anyone signed up to speak?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Close
Move we
public
adjourn.
comment. Move we adjourn. All in favor say aye. We're adjourned. I'll finish my story real
Back,
quick.
back to the important stuff.
And